Welcome to the season of self-love, your daily dose of inspiration and encouragement. I'm your host, Nyomi Banks, and I am thrilled to be here with you today. This podcast is brought to you by Ask Nyomi and Elevate Me Self-Discovery. Are you ready to elevate your mindset and embrace the power of self-love? Well, have you come to the right place? Each day we'll dive into topics that will empower and inspire you on your journey towards self-discovery and personal growth. Whether you're looking to cultivate healthy relationships, boost your confidence, or find balance in your life, this podcast is here to support your every step on the way. We believe that self-love is the foundation of living a fulfilled and joyful life. And together we explore practical tips, insightful interviews, and transformative stories that will leave you feeling inspired and motivated. So join me Monday through Friday as we embark on this daily adventure of self-love. Tune into the Season of Self-Love podcast to start your day on a positive note and discover the limitless potential within yourself. Hey, my beautiful souls, and welcome back to the Season of Self-Love podcast. I am your host, Nyomi Banks, and we are here today to guide you through another deeply personal, transforming journey as part of our ongoing series, Healing Beyond Betrayal. You see, this month we are diving into the painful yet enlightening world of healing trauma caused by betrayal. And today, it's just you and me as we explore the depths of betrayal and the paths of healing. So before we start this journey, let's take a quick break. And then when we return, we're going to get into the journey, all right? It's your girl, the goddess, Nyomi Banks, here on the Season of Self-Love podcast. And we'll be right back.
Are you ready to transform your pain into power? Join us this September for the 30-day Healing Beyond Betrayal Challenge. From Hurt to Hope. Starting September 1st, embark on a journey of healing and self-discovery. Each day, you'll receive empowering lessons, practical exercises, and supportive community connections, designed to help you overcome the hurt of betrayal and reclaim your joy. Don't let betrayal define your story. It's time to rise, heal, and rebuild a brighter future. Sign up today at theseasonofselflovepodcast.com.
It's your girl, the goddess, Nyomi Banks, and make sure you tune in every Thursday night to Ask Nyomi Bridging the Gap podcast, where we talk about everything from love, sex, relationship, cultural differences, and so much more. We're bridging the gap between them all, and we even talk about spiritual uplifting. You need to stop by. Me and Dr. Mike, as well as the BTG crew. We have some amazing guests that come through. You never know. Just make sure you tune in Thursday night, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Go to AskNyomi.com and tell them Nyomi teaches. Welcome back to the Season of Self-Love podcast. I am your host, Nyomi Banks. And this month is all about healing beyond betrayal. And today we're talking about healing trauma caused by what? Betrayal. Betrayal, right? Again, every day we're going to start by, when we're talking about these topics, we're going to talk about understanding betrayal, right? But before we do that, let's go into a nice guided meditation just to center us before we get into the topic at hand. Look, I got a little tongue tied there. All right, so let's take a moment. All right, I want you to find a comfortable position and close your eyes. I want you to take a deep breath in through your nose, a deep inhale. I want you to hold it for a moment. And in your head, I want you just to count to 4 by holding your breath. And in that moment, I want you just to realize all the pain that you've been feeling. Now I want you to exhale that pain out through your mouth. Now I want you to take another moment and I want you to inhale again through your nose. I want you to fill your chest up to well it rise. And I want you to hold it again for another 4 seconds. 2, 3, 4. And again, I want you to exhale all the pain, all the tension, all the resentment. I want you to release that out. Now I want you to do one more deep breath in. And when you deep breath in, that deep breath in, I want you to bring all the positivity and all the light and all the lessons that have been learned from this betrayal. Now I want you to hold that for 4 seconds. 1, 2, 3. Now I want you to release through your mouth slowly. And I want you to release all of that toxicity, all of that betrayal, all of that resentment. Now I want you to roll your shoulders back. Yes. I want you to tilt your head to the right, to the left. Put your arms in front. Shake them a little bit. Yes. Now I want you to gently open your eyes and come back. Ooh, that's a little different, huh? That's a little different. Yeah, I had to take y'all back to in the beginning. In the beginning, we was doing stretches and all that stuff during the meditation. But if you're new here to the Season of Self-Love podcast, this is something that we do every day, Monday through Friday. It's to help to center ourselves and relax ourselves before we get into the topic at hand. And today we're talking about the healing trauma caused by betrayal. Again, this month is all about healing beyond the betrayal. Not only do we have this series where we have an amazing guest that's coming in, as well as our resident therapist, Dr. Will, but also we have a 30-day hurt to hope healing beyond the challenge. That every day there's a prompt, every day there's an exercise that help you to get through your betrayal. And even though we're probably on day 5 or day 6, one of them, you can still start from day 1 today. If you pick it up today, no matter when you're listening to this, you can start. You can start it over and over again, as much as you feel that's best for you, as well as my ebook, Healing Beyond Betrayal. Again, it's a journey of growth, empowerment, and renewal. Yes, it is. All right, so let's start talking about this topic right here, understanding betrayal. I know that we speak about understanding betrayal every day, and we will continue it until you understand what betrayal is to you. Betrayal is a word that is often brings a flood of what emotions? Anger, sadness, confusion. It could come from anywhere, a partner, a friend, or even a family member. You see, each act cuts deeply, affecting our ability to trust and love. And honestly, it affects us in different ways depending on where the betrayal comes from. Earlier this week, I shared a personal story, and I'm going to share another one. A few years ago, I experienced a betrayal that shook my foundation. Where a close friend shared something I told them in confidence. It was a harsh lesson in trust, but it also opened my eyes to the emotional trauma and betrayal that it can cause. You see, and with this trauma, it isn't just the emotional, it's deep and it's real, and it can linger, and it can affect on how we interact with others and how we view relationships. And I remember the way that I felt from the betrayal. and let me tell you this, to this day, I'm still in connection with this person. I'm still very much a dear friend to her, as I know that she is to me. I understood the process of what she was going through. I understood where she was at in that moment. And I remember after I felt that certain betrayal from her, I remember speaking about it right then and there. I didn't let it fester into me. Well, not that long. I think I didn't say anything that day that it happened, but I think like the next day, yeah, I think it's the next day or the next day after, when her and I was alone, and I spoke to her about it. And she was very open to receiving it. And that's why I knew that what was going on that weekend, that was a person or a space that she really wasn't comfortable with. I knew what she was going through because we had just had a conversation earlier that week. So even within that betrayal that was happening for me, that she did to me, I knew at that moment that it wasn't about me, but I knew that I had to disconnect from myself in that period of time. I think earlier this week, I spoke about another situation or issue that someone had betrayed me. And I cut them off and blocked them, crossed them, did all of that because I didn't allow myself. I was more mad at myself than anything. I felt like that was a betrayal to myself that I did because I saw all the signs from that person. Not that that person was a bad person, but that I knew by looking at this person that they wasn't in a part of a healing process at that time. They were going through turmoil their self. So instead of me looking at that and understanding that what they were doing in that moment, it wasn't about me. I was just a person standing in their way that either triggered their emotion, reminded them of who they are or who they wanted to be, or how they wanted to feel. I don't know. That wasn't my business, even though you say, well, they made it your business because they did that. Again. Now, if you hadn't listened to the show that I earlier this week, it was called Finding Forgiveness. That show. That is what is on Finding Forgiveness. Is that show where I shared that story. But I knew through the process of everything that someone did to me, of the sense of betrayal that I felt from them, I had to learn to forgive. And it wasn't easy. And remember what I said earlier, just a few minutes ago, about depending on what the betrayal is and who is from and the depth of the betrayal. So this friend right here, it was, let me tell you this. And this is one of the things that I came to understand, especially through my healing process. I've always thought that I was an exception to the rules. What do you mean, Nyomi? I always thought that I was an exception to the rule, meaning that when loved ones and friends tell me something about somebody else that they don't like or that they have done something to, I thought because they were sharing that information with me, that they would not dare do that to me. That's what I thought. I was a piece of, I thought like, no, they ain't gonna do it to me because they telling me what they already doing. So I know they ain't gonna do it to me. But guess what? No. No. And to laugh about it now because you already know, you know how to say if someone is talking to you about somebody, know that they are talking about you to someone else. Oh, I believe that is so true right now. But before, no, I thought I was the exception to the rule. Because remember, I was Dear Abby. I was there. Everybody come talk to me, tell me about their business. You know, I'm helping everybody. But little do you know, see, they talk about your ass too. And I didn't know that. I really didn't. But I don't know if that's called, I don't even know. I'm going to have to ask Dr. Will. We're going to bring this up in another conversation and I'm going to ask him. Look, I thought, and I want to see what he said about me, what he diagnosed me with. But for real, like I really thought that I was an exception to the rule. And I'm not. But what my exception to the rule can be for me is understanding a different perspective, not for them, but for myself. Meaning that how I allow that betrayal to affect me and my peace and how I move forward. Does that make sense? Yes. Again, what her and I went through, it was more shocking to me because I'm like, girl, now for years you heard this girl talk about everybody. You saw her be that way to other people and come back and say, so why don't you think she wasn't doing that to you? But see, the difference is that when I heard it, I went straight to her. I didn't go to nobody else. So that's how when people know, well, Nyomi, I ain't gonna talk about nobody behind your back. Because what I said to you, know that I said to somebody else. So they ain't gonna ever say, well, she said, because you were like, oh yeah, she already told me that. I'm not talking about nobody behind their back. If anything, I would use your story as an example. And if they don't know you personally, you got a facetious name. But if they know you personally, yes, it'll be factual. But it will be a learning tool that I've already spoken to you about. And if it's real deep and you don't want me to share with nobody, I won't. I will keep secrets. But if you ain't asking me, I'm just being honest. I would say something. But most of the time it's just like, well, I don't want nobody to know. No, then it stays between you and I always. It won't be shared unless I talk and say, like, can I share this with somebody? Or if it's the lonely, but if you ask me, don't say nothing, I'm not gonna say nothing. But that was a part of that betrayal. And I had to just take a break from it. And I went straight to it, acknowledge it. I was hurt for a minute, but not more from her. I was hurt from myself because I thought that I was the exception to the rule. And so it allowed me to heal quickly. It allowed me to heal quickly. And the thing is, let me be honest. I had already been going through my healing process. I was deep into my spiritual healing, my mental, emotional healing. I was deep in it. When I mean deep in it, I was meditating, doing all of those things. So I kind of knew that it wasn't about me, that it was more about her. And so for me, that healing of that trauma, of that betrayal, one, it allowed me to say, okay, I am not accepted. I am not an exception to that rule. Two, this what it means when it say in 4 agreements, don't take it personal. It's not about you. Because I've already saw how she was moving and what she was doing. But she also did. So even in that exchange that we had after she did what she did, and I spoke to her, I didn't come to her mean and evil with it. I led that conversation in love. Because I knew what type of woman that she was, and I knew that she was a phenomenal woman just going through some fucked up shit. And see, a lot of times a person can be phenomenal, and I'm going off the script right now. Sometimes a person could be a phenomenal person, and just in that moment or that season could be going through some fucked up shit that caused them to act a certain way. They could have went through some betrayal on the other side of things and not knowing how to deal with it. And so they go to the next person who they think maybe they're healed or whatever. And so I'm just going to spew that on them. I don't know if you heard the show on Monday with Dr. Will, and we were talking about understanding the mental aspect of betrayal, where Dr. Will talked about when you go through a betrayal aspect, and many times that you kind of do something different than what you as a person would do. Remember, I shared the story about my first husband cheating on me, but instead of me leaving the process, I just was going tit for tat. And the thing is, 2 wrongs didn't make a right. Because I said I would never cheat. But let me say this. I'm not blaming this man for the choices that I made, but I understood what Dr. Will said is that when you do go through betrayal, you start to do things that are not aligned with yourself. Because now you don't even trust yourself. You don't even trust your judgment or what you're doing. Because you're thinking, how did I ever get into this situation? Y'all understand what I'm saying? So in that, yeah. So y'all know me. I can keep going on and on and on with the story. We'd be here for 2 hours. 2 hours. But with this series, I love it. I do. Like I said, we have so many things that's going on with this series that's combined with this. And I talked earlier in the top of the show about our 30-day challenge. And I want to speak a little bit about it right now, because today is day 5 of the challenge. And if you are listening to it in real time, it's a 30-day challenge that we have, and it started on September 1st. Okay. And if you are listening after September 1st, or even years after this, and I'm just going to put it out there, is that you can start this any day. Today can be your first day. Today can be your first day. Now in real time, I'm talking about today is day 5 in a challenge from our hurt to hope 30-day challenge. Today challenge, it involves writing a forgiveness letter. You see, this isn't just about forgiving those who wronged us, but it's also about forgiving those who wronged. It's about forgiving ourselves. I shared this earlier in a previous show about when, probably about 12, 13 years ago, when I was pregnant. I was on bed rest the whole entire time. And through that entire time that I was on bed rest for the whole entire 9 months. Like I had cysts and fibroids, and the cysts were the size of a baseball and steady growing along with my daughter, the fetus that was in. So I had to be on bed rest, couldn't do anything, nothing. And I remember I could do nothing but sit and think. 9 months. So I created a prayer closet. And within that prayer closet, I remember going through my emotions and, things in life, asking God to forgive me. But then in the process, it was like, now you need to start writing all the people that you need to forgive, and all the people that you need to ask for forgiveness from. And what I did was, the people that I needed to get forgiveness from, I called each and every one of them. Not that I did anything wrong to them. And I'm going to tell you what my forgiveness was for them. Is because once I got into the adult industry, I kind of blocked them out emotionally. I blocked them out emotionally. I didn't allow them to still continue to see me, who is this woman, this little girl that grew up. Because in that moment, in the beginning of that career, when I got into the adult industry, there was nothing but shame that I had on me. So I couldn't allow them to see nothing past that shame. That it was like a mirror, not a mirror, but a shade that was in front of me, a wall that you can see through me. But it wasn't me. It wasn't the person who they grew to love. I didn't have the same attitude. I didn't have any of those. I was like in protective mode at all times. And I knew that, and I felt that. Because even in the conversations that I heard behind my back, I'm like, that's not even me. But see, I had started to change. And what I mean is change is that shade had came on up and down, and this has blocked all of them, majority of them. And so I wasn't being my real self. And there was a lot of them that understood exactly what I meant and talked about it. And it was the one that did not understand what I was talking about. But I was able to ask them for their forgiveness in that manner. But then I sat down and I wrote a forgiveness letter to myself. And I still have that forgiveness letter to this day. It's just packed away in storage. And when I do find it, when I go back to my storage and I find it, I don't care what day or year it is, I am going to take that letter and I'm going to post it. Because I remember I used to read that letter for a good year and a half. I used to read that letter every day to myself. Because I needed to forgive myself, because a lot of things that I put myself through that I've betrayed myself with. So I knew I needed to forgive myself. So when I say write down your feelings and express what's in your heart, man, when I say that it will is a very powerful step towards your healing, because that was a very powerful step towards my healing, especially towards those ones that I felt did me wrong. So I was able to understand a lot of things. So I encourage you to share your experiences with this challenge, whether you're on social media, email. By sharing your incredible healing, it can help others to feel less alone. Again, that is why I did this series, because I know firsthand how I allowed my betrayal to stop me in my tracks. If it wasn't for a few weeks ago when I went back and I listened to Untethered Soul, I'm like, how you gonna truly go through this healing process? How you truly gonna sit on this platform, on this podcast that says self-love, the season of self-love, when somebody say a person's name, you get so upset and irritated, you close off. How you gonna be able to tell them that? How you gonna be able to teach them any of that when you can't even get past the betrayal that's been done to you? When I say God, the spirit be working, it be working on me. It be working on me. When I woke, sleep, meditation, whatever. I'm gonna be walking down the street and it hit me in my head. Like, see, there it is. And then but also the amazing guest that's on this month. When I say each one of these guests that I'm bringing on, their stories are amazing. Their stories are amazing. And just to see a glimpse of their life and how they came through betrayal and how they're using that betrayal as power to help others, okay, is amazing. My prayer is just you all, the listeners here on the Season of Self-Love, that you are able to connect with them in a way that it will help to inspire, encourage you to also heal beyond that. That you can heal from the trauma that was caused by betrayal. That you will use the resources that are given from you, whether it is to talk with Dr. Will, make a 15, free consultation with him and talk with him. Lessons to book a session with myself or even with Melissa Van Muser or whoever else that we bring to you, that you're able to connect with them, as well as friends or family members who you truly trust and know that they will take your secret or that they would take your betrayal to the grave with them and not exploit you with it. Y'all understand what I'm saying? So when I said the first day of this month, I said, we got you. We got you. I have no qualms about sharing my story, whether I have been betrayed or I have betrayed someone else. I'm going to share it because I understand that betrayal that I did then, I would dare not do that betrayal now. And I say, why, Naomi? Because you just say, no. Mm-mm. Back then, I was a very defensive, hurt. Like I led with, I'm gonna show ass. That's how I led. And then love came out. You understand? And so through my healing process of understanding what all of betrayal means in every single one of the betrayals that happened to me, I changed that to happen to me, that happened for me. I changed that from what's happening to me that is happening for me. And I learned how to use that as gifts. We talked about it last season, about taking our obstacles And the lessons within there is taking them as tools and gifts and applying them to our life today. My thing is, if I didn't go through none of that, or if I wasn't betrayed by none of them, then I wouldn't be on this platform and be able to speak to you all about it. Yeah. All right, the next thing I want to just touch on this a little bit from my ebook. As I mentioned before, I have an ebook called Healing Beyond Betrayal, a journey of empowerment, of growth, empowerment, and renewal. And it's 55 pages. And I share my story, I share my betrayal, I share how I got into it, I share it all. But also I have steps and strategies on how I got to my healing process. And remember, we are forever healing. So even with this ebook in the worksheets, this is something that you can do every day. Like you can finish the book and come back and do it again. Just like with the challenge. You might be good for 6 months and then something triggers you. You know how subconsciously stuff come in your head. It can trigger you. Guess what? You can go back. Now, hold on. I purchased this ebook healing from Nyomi a few months ago. Let me go get it down in my file. Oh, I'm a part of the Patreon. I can go over here to the challenge and get it from there. And I could go through the challenge all over again if I want to see the video. But then she gave me a nice little sheet with all 30 days. So I got you. I got y'all. I'm saying we got y'all. We got y'all. So let me talk about this book in chapter 3. I'm talking about chapter 3, Healing Beyond Betrayal. We talk about practical tips towards healing. And it's very crucial to establish boundaries post-betrayal. So remember when I said when that friend of mine that we had betrayal, but I had kind of like put my boundaries up. I didn't cut her off. I just gave boundaries. And it was like, okay, you got to get yourself together first before we can continue to communicate in this matter. And she received it. And I love her to this day. It's because she didn't have no excuses or nothing. She actually took accountability for her actions. So when a person can take accountability for their actions right then and there, and then go do the work and I see the work, that's why I knew when she was doing that stuff all of that time, I knew she was in a fucked up situation. And remember, I was talking about the family members, the loved ones that did something. And now I'm able to heal. Now, if you would have asked me this a few months ago before I listened to that book again, I was like, the door is closed. It's only open to some. The door is open. It's open. It's not open like it was, but it's open. Because now I've now set boundaries. Now I know how to set boundaries with each one of them. Now I know to continue to allow my heart to stay open. Don't close it. I have to allow the hurt to go through. Let it bleed on out. Wipe it, bleed, let it bleed on out. Allow the fresh air to come in to start to heal me. Again, we so used to when somebody hurt us cutting it off, that's it, bottle it in, we keep it in. I'm telling y'all, that book by Michael A. Singer, Untethered Soul, yes, My sister told me about this book a few years ago. Yeah. Yeah. Fabulous book. Amazing book. And when you listen to it, yeah, it would truly help you. It helped. I'm telling you, let me tell you what it feels like. Is like that book was the icing on. Okay, you know how you put the strawberry on top of, like that. That was the strawberry. So let me tell you something. Me opening up the season of self-love to have guests on for this season, that was a sprinkle on top of we're going to do a Sunday on top of the Sunday. And then that book, when I got that message to read that book, to listen to it a few days before I went back home to Chicago, that was the cherry on top. Boom. That is what I needed to not only to get through that weekend, to have a different perspective, but also that I can sit here on this platform and be able to real authentic with y'all. How can I be able to tell y'all about healing beyond betrayal when I still had some shit in me that I hadn't healed from, that I hadn't even attempted to heal from? Naomi, how did you do that in a few weeks or a few days? Well, know that there was work that was done way before that. But then that's also about me taking accountability for me, not blaming them for what they did, but understanding me on how I react, on how I allowed it to disturb my peace. See, when we're talking about self-love, we talk about self-awareness. We talk about taking accountability of what we allow in our lives. That's what we do when you're going through self-love, when you're falling in love with yourself, when you're searching for peace, happiness, abundance of life, when you want to surround yourself with good people, when you want to walk out a door and you want your light to just shine. And people know, oh, she healing. Oh, she good. He got self-love. Oh, yeah. And seeing that, what that does is attract other people in other forms like that. See, Dr. Will has said it before. He said, you walk in your healing. Yeah. Today you see me in this new hat. It's one of my favorite hats. And then some days you see me on social media with my locks, no makeup, raggedy t-shirt, raggedy jeans. Sometimes I got cut off shorts with my cellulite showing, working out. But what that's doing is it's showing that I'm not really caring what nobody think of me, because I still know that I'm fabulous and I'm a goddess, and I understand what God has using me for. And it feels good. It feels good to be that way, because I spent majority of my adult life in front of a camera looking for validation from others. And I no longer do that. It can be 5 or 10 people listening to this podcast, and I don't care. Meaning, because it's supposed to touch who it's supposed to touch. Period. Whatever God allows me to do, allows for me in abundance and prosperity, it's going to come to me. I just got to continue to keep doing this. You know what? Because I love this. This what makes me feel good. When we were on our break, man, I was like, I miss it. But I knew I had to be obedient. Meaning that I had to sit in it, because I knew what I was doing in the second season. I knew that there would be different challenges per series, per month. I knew there would be eBooks per month. There would be courses per month. I would be standing on stages and speaking. So I had to do my own work, more work. Because again, this assignment and this purpose is much bigger than me. That he will put me into rooms where I will no longer be the smartest person, where I will no longer be the one with the most experience, that I will be in a place that I have to come ready. So when somebody's reaching their hand out to uplift me and pull me up, that I'm right there with confidence, holding their hand as they lifting me up. Does that make sense? So when I'm talking about this ebook of this Healing Beyond Betrayal, the chapter 3, it's about establishing boundaries, post-betrayal. So that's like if I'm continuing these relationships with the person who betrayed me, I could communicate what my limits are clearly, confidently. So now I ain't got to block nobody no more. So that beautiful young lady, that family member of mine who I got into, who like whatever, if she was to reach out to me today, tomorrow, or 5 months from now, years from now, I'm able to, hey, yeah, let's talk. Because I've checked myself. Not giving them no excuse, but to understand that it wasn't even about me, that it was them. And then I'm about to go better, further than this with it. And if you hadn't got beyond that, what can I do to help you? How can I assist you? And that's just being real. When you able to step beyond that, yeah. Now I just went a little further. I just went a little further with that one. Now I don't know, Dr. Will might be listening today and be like, huh? No, we'll talk about it later. But y'all get the gist of what I'm saying, right? I hope y'all do. I really do hope y'all get the gist of what I'm saying with this. Yeah, I do. I really do. You know, with this chapter, on chapter 3, when I said it took me, I was gone for 3 months. For 3 months. And that would be the last time that I would take a break like that. And I needed to. Like I said, I had to come back and elevate. And I because this is the season of self-love is much bigger than what I can ever imagine. What started off as a monthly series for Acts Nyomi Bridging the Gap. It's supposed to be done every Tuesday for 4 weeks. Turned into a daily show. I think we were like on episode 136 when I stopped the first season. In one season. Rocking by myself for the first half of it. And if you knew to what I'm saying, one day I sat in front of my altar and I asked God and my spiritual team around me, I was like, hey, this is where you said, I need help. And not only did they send me help, they sent me somebody with a degree, a professional therapist. But not only dealing with adults, but he dealt with children as well. Yes. But not only that, but he brought me somebody that not only trusts me on this journey, but also opened up about his own stuff. So he can also come from an experience point, but also from the book sense of it. You understand? Like he got his degree on it. So all I see right now is God just aligning everybody there around me, my village of people. Like I said, amazing guest this month. Amazing. Allow me to open up. Let me share this with you. I'm going to be very, very open. A few months ago, I had gotten an email from this guy named Alex. He's the owner and the creator of Podmatch. Podmatch is a platform where there are podcasters that are looking for guests. And this is where publicists and, people that's looking to be on certain podcasts. And he reached out to me and he said, wow, you did 136 episodes. He said, I would love to know how you did all that. That's amazing. He told me to take a test. I took a test. Then I took a free class that he offered me, a free class. I took that. And I was like, wow. When I started to look at it, I said, wow, let me sign up for this. I signed up for this. Probably about 10 minutes later, I had like 10 people. Ooh, I would love to be. And I went to look at all of their profiles. I'm like, oh my God, this is amazing. This gave me a gateway to meet people that I would never have met if I just kept the season of self-love closed. I just stayed in my space and never went anywhere. But I'm telling you how powerful that prayer can be, how powerful manifestation can be. But honestly, truly, the only way that was able to happen is because I was able to go beyond the betrayal in my life. I didn't hold on to those betrayals. How I'm able to tell you the story of them now because I've gotten through them. And so I don't have any disdain in my voice. That's why I can laugh at it and I laugh at myself because of my reactions. And I'm like, girl, did you react like that? Girl, now you know. I understand that how my betrayal that I dealt within myself, I wouldn't do that no more, as well as betray anybody else. So even that story that I shared with you about my first husband betraying me, but guess what? I betrayed him too. Just because it doesn't matter who did what first. I had a choice. I could have easily walked away from that and not did any harm to nobody. Because even in that process, I hurt him as well. Does that make sense? See, this is a part of the healing that people don't want to talk about either. But this is for another day. This is for another day. Because guess what, y'all? We have come to the end of this episode. Yes, we have. So we're going to wrap this episode up today. And I want you to remember the importance of self-love through this healing process. And I want you to participate in Day 5 challenge. I want you to reflect on the insights of Chapter 3 of my eBook. Day 5 challenge of Hurt to Hope. If you hadn't signed up, go sign up now. The season of self-love.podcast.com. You can go there to, there's a link, always a link for that there. And also Chapter 3 of my ebook, Healing Beyond Betrayal, a journey of growth, empowerment, and renewal. And if you haven't signed up for our Patreon. This is where right now you're listening to me, but you can see me. And also I will be putting up little posty things up there and stuff like that. The Patreon, we got a lot of good things that, come created from that, as well. And again, I am excited about this new season. I'm excited about all the new guests throughout the whole entire season. When I say this year, we ending it off with a bang. This fall gonna be falling. We're gonna be falling in love with ourselves. We're definitely gonna be falling in love with ourselves through this fall season, going into the winter season, coming back around in the spring and the summer. Y'all gonna be in love with yourself, and then y'all gonna tell somebody to come over here and go fall in love with yourself. Better yet, go fall in love with Nyomi and her peoples over there. That's what y'all gonna say. All right. All right, my beautiful people. So tomorrow we're going to explore more things. Next week, we're going to explore new dimensions of healing. So until then, again, share your thoughts and your stories. Give us a review. Let me know how I'm doing. Let me know if you have any more topics, or you might possibly want us to do a topic for a whole series of something that you might be going through that you want us to share. Hit me up. Let me know. Thing is, let's keep this conversation going. Again, I thank you for joining me on this journey of self-discovery and healing. And I want you to remember that you are not alone, that you are always worthy of love. Again, thank you all for tuning in to the Season of Self-Love. And be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share this podcast with anyone who you might find that is helpful. Because see, your feedbacks and your stories inspire our episodes, and it helps us grow together. So stay tuned for more episodes that are more inspiring, encouraging you to live your best life. So until next time, take care of yourselves and each other. Thank you for joining us on this journey of discovery and empowerment here at the Season of Self-Love podcast. Remember, embracing self-love is a continuous journey, and we're so glad to have you with us. So if you enjoyed today's episode, please leave us a review. And don't forget to join our community on Facebook at Season of Self-Love. Connect with like-minded individuals who are also on their self-love journey. Now, if you have any questions or topics that you'd like for us to explore, we love to hear from you. Email us at seasonofselflove@gmail.com and let your voice be heard. So until next time, take a moment for yourself today and remember, you are worthy of love, joy, and all the beautiful things that life has to offer.